And we are live. Welcome, everybody, to the first Brains, Brawn, and BS livecast. All right, so I wanted to kick it off by doing something really like a topic I feel would really help you guys out. So, coming up here in the near future, we actually have a special treat in our series on automation. And I'm actually going to be bringing on a really special guest. And it's someone that I've worked with for a little while now, and I'm very confident in their abilities. And I got to tell you, it's going to be a good one. So today, what I wanted to discuss with you is income and cash flow and what the difference is. I mean, which one do you even want anyway? So let's break it down like this. So income, whenever you think income, what do you think? Well, a majority of the time, people are going to think, well, I need to go get a job. I need to go to school, get a better education so that I can, be able to increase my income that way, which is very true. That's the cornerstone of our society is, of course, having jobs. But here's the question. Who provides those jobs? And don't say the government. I mean, I know they do some, but seriously, guys, who provides most of the jobs? Well, it's going to be companies, organizations, and entrepreneurs. All right. So they work off of something different than income. Now, technically, if you read the definition of income in Webster's, if you are so weird enough to have a dictionary, then yes, I mean, obviously it meets the same criteria, but cash flow is actually passive income. All right. What do I mean by passive income? We'll back up here. Okay. Passive income, what that is money that comes in regardless of whether you work or not. All right, now let's think back to job really quick here. So you got a job. What are you doing to get that income? You're working for it, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But what is, like, if you want to retire, okay, or let's just say where the world is going and that people are able to do things on their own whenever they want to, right? Well, then where does that put you? What kind of income do you need, or what do you need coming in? You need cash flow. On top of that, this is one thing that is extremely important. Right now, the United States government is actually on and not just the government, but the small governing bodies like, counties and cities and things like that. They are on the brink of a huge crisis when it comes to their pensions. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, a pension, obviously, as you know, is if you work for the government a certain number of years, then you're going to be able to get that income for the remainder of your life, or a portion of it. And when you're fully vested, a lot of these guys will pay you the same thing that you were getting paid for the rest of your life. Well, there's a lot of racketeering crap that's been going on behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know about. And so what's happening now is that they are on the verge of collapse. Why? Because the average pension today needs to get a 7% return on their monies in order to continue paying the people that they're already paying. What do you think that's going to mean in the future? Right? What happens if we get into a time where, they can't get that kind of return? I mean, look at this. Interest rates are plummeting now. Right now, like my mom just did a refi or cash out refi on her place, and she's getting a rate of 3.9%, right? The best rate you can get is around 3.2, sometimes 2.9. So what does that mean? Well, just cycling back really quick into how bank accounts work, they pay you a certain percentage to keep your money. Now, remember, a bank isn't a safe place to keep your money. What it is you are lending that money to them. And so they pay you an interest rate of about 0.01 or 0.1%. Pretty good return, right? Well, then what they're doing is they're re-lending that money out at 2% or 3%, and they're making their money on that spread. On top of that, they do the loans for like 30 years. Anyway, I digress. So cash flow, where do you get it? Obviously, we know where income comes from. Now, well, actually, let's back up a little bit. Let's go and kind of dissect income a little bit more. So you have that passive income, and then you have your working income. But there are certain other ways that you can maximize your time, especially if you are working for money or working for income right now. certain things like, flipping houses or, signing contracts or doing something that doesn't require you to punch a time clock, but you're actively working for. Okay. So active income is a doctor walking into his office every day or taking house calls and earning his money. All right. So now cash flow. Where do you get it? All right. You ready for this? Remember, cash flow is money you don't work for. Here is the secret. Here is what the most difficult thing that you will ever have to do in your life. You buy assets. Okay, cool. Back up here. What the hell is an asset? Exactly. All right. So an asset, if you read the definition in Webster's, I'm still worried about you for having a freaking dictionary. 2020 for Christ's sake. But regardless, you can, the definition of an asset is something that pays you or puts money in your pocket, regardless of whether you work or not. All right. So if you're not working for it, and it's income that's coming in, well, then that's cash flow, isn't it? So if you could buy an asset that pays you, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 bucks a month, obviously, woohoo, not that great. But what happens if you buy 5 of them or 20 of them or 100 of them, or you just keep stepping up to assets that are going to provide you more income? Ta-da! The magic of building your asset column. So the big thing to remember here, guys, is cash flow is money that comes from assets that you do not work for. Now, a lot of times, I'm going to level with you, a lot of times saving money is super important because a lot of people don't want to learn how to do this stuff. And that's totally cool. At least you're doing something, right? Make sure you got a good 401k, make sure you got a Roth IRA, something where you're going to be able to let that money grow tax-free. And then, of course, you're going to have to pay taxes when it comes out, but at the same time. Or if you have your house, let's say you're looking at buying a property. Well, the loan pay down on that property, I mean, honestly, that pays on your property. That means you have more equity and you have more cash or savings. All right. Now, so super important if you don't want to go through the trouble of learning, because this is a completely different education point, then don't do it. Okay. Plain simple. But if you're looking to learn how to essentially grow your passive income, there is a recommendation, and this is not a paid advertisement. It's just something I play all the freaking time. All right, guys. So this is Cash Flow. It's a game by Robert T. Kiyosaki. If you don't want to fork out the $80 to pay for it, then look up Cash Flow Club in your area. You can actually go to, oh crap, what's that site? I just went to a real estate thing the other day. Meetup. Go to meetup.com and look for a cash flow club in your area. It's funny because I say this, but I have been too damn lazy to start my own cash flow club in the area and have just been playing randomly with friends every now and then. But that game, what does it teach you to do? All right. So first off, it teaches you about asset classes, and it doesn't teach you by you sitting in front of a person who's lecturing you and telling you to read chapters and do questions at home when you don't want to. You want to sit there watching the last 5 seasons of Psych so that you can catch up on what's going on. And yes, I said Psych because that's a fantastic show. But, a lot of people basically, they feel like the only way to educate themselves is to learn by, going to school, which is great for a decent amount of people. Ain't good for this guy. I don't know if you're anything like me, but ain't good for this guy. All right. So cash flow allows you to play a board game, which teaches you the different types of asset classes and helps you to learn to identify assets that are actually going to provide you with a good return and cash flow. And of course, that cash flow provides you with income that you do not have to work for. And if you get enough of it, you don't have to work at all. All right. You know what the cool thing about cash flow is too, is it's actually tax-free if you're doing it through real estate. Shh. Talk to your accountant first. But a lot of things, and I don't preach real estate because as long as it gives me the cash flow, and I really don't give a crap what it is, as long as it's an asset, right? But at the same time, real estate right now has probably some of the best tax advantages when it comes to the depreciation. Now, just really quick side note, if you're all of a sudden you're like, hey, this is awesome, I want to take action on it. Good. That's what we want you to do. Take action, of course, get out there and do. But you need to make sure to talk to your accountant first. All right. And you also need to make sure that with appreciation, you don't count on that. All right. Yes. All right. Markets are cyclical. They go up, they go down. But I've played on the stock market and I suck at it. So I have a really hard time figuring out when they're going to go up and when they're going to go down. So I hire people that are smarter than me to do that for me. But regardless, make sure that you don't add appreciation into, your, like when you're buying your house, you don't add it into your formula because that's great and all, but you have depreciation, which is literally free money from the government, basically. And then it's called a phantom income, by the way. And then cash flow, which is tax-free. On top of that, you can also cash out refi. And guess how much debt is, how much debt you pay on taxes, or taxes you pay on debt. 0. There is 0% chance that you'll pay taxes on debt. Why? Because the government wants you to go into debt. Why? Because we need velocity of money and money sloshing around in the markets. And so why in the world would they charge you or tax you on money that they want you to borrow? No, the tax code is all about incentives. If you're not paying taxes on something, that tells you that the government wants you doing it. Oh, but what's the first thing they take out of your paycheck every single week, every 2 weeks? So, does the government want you to have a job? Let that fester for a little bit in your mind. But hey, guys, appreciate y'all stopping out. Hey, this is Scott Johnson with Brains, Brawn, and BS. We're going to keep it kicking for you. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Android, Stitcher, whatever floats your boat on that one. We're on all of them. Make sure to leave us a review. Definitely like this video. Subscribe to our channel. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up. We are going to have an interview that's going to be really cool for anyone who is interested in automating processes coming up here on Wednesday at about 4 p.m. Wednesday at 4 p.m. So make sure you tune on for that. But hey, guys, anyway, have a fantastic day and keep crushing it.